Well, the full-time whistle has just blown at the Rec. Semi-finals weekend, game one done, and it was a belter. If you don't want to know the score, if you just stumbled across this video and you don't know, then look away. Otherwise, let's crack on and talk about Bath getting to another Premiership final. 34 points to 20. But that scoreline does not tell the story. Bristol were well in that game and ahead at half-time. And that first 15 minutes in the second half from Bath was where they just accelerated and took the game away from Bristol. I absolutely love that. Those players, I don't know about, like a game next week is going to be too soon for those Bath players. They must be battered. Fair play to Bath. Give your thoughts in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. That was a class game of rugby. The best team won. They just had too much in the end. But you've got to take your hats off to Bristol. And for all of the chat in the week from Pat Lam, and I kind of like that he was doing that. I mean, some people have given him some stick, but he's sticking up for his team, and he was building a narrative and building a story that we were all getting behind in the build up to the game. He was making it matter even more. And clearly he got his players, Pat Lam got his team into the perfect headspace, because the way they started that match, Ellis Genge at the absolute forefront of it, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. They meant business. They just didn't have the ability to deliver that for 80 minutes because the quality of players that Bath can bring on, the quality of players that they have, that class was always going to tell. They were always going to have their time. But when Bath had their moments, they bang, 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 scored the tries. When Bristol had their moments on top, they didn't manage to convert as much. Basically the story of the game, but loved it. Yeah, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. So as you can see, I'm not in my normal surroundings. I'm at a friend's house because I am flying tomorrow to Greece, which means I will do the reviews on the games as soon as and when I'm able to. But yeah, just in case you're looking for a video tomorrow, go, what's happened to Tim? Where is he? There you go. I've travelled down today and fitting the videos in when I can. This one as soon as that game is just finished. So let's talk about Bristol Bath then, or Bath Bristol. Bath were at home, earned the right to be at home, and that home advantage did tell. The crowd were properly loud. I've been at the Rec. I mentioned on the video earlier today that I used to live in Bath. I've seen many a Bath-Bristol derby. It's always spicy, and that atmosphere looked absolutely brilliant. Pat Lam needn't have worried. He said he didn't buy his wife a ticket because he didn't want her to sit in the open stand with it raining and spending loads and loads on the ticket, as if he couldn't have got a freebie. But Pat Lam and his wife don't need to worry about getting a ticket for next week because Bath are going. And fair play Johan van Graan and his team. They're on for a treble. Kinda. It's not like the proper treble, is it? Like the proper treble would be Champions Cup. But, you know, Challenge Cup's decent. Premiership Cup, who cares? Premiership, big deal. And that's the one that Bath fans have been starved of. They've never won this competition since it became the Premiership. Before the Premiership, they were the dominant force in England. They've had to watch Saracens and Leicester and Northampton and Harlequins and Exeter have their periods. Is this Bath's time? It certainly feels like it. They've certainly, you know, spent really well. It's not just, I'm not bringing up the budget to try and denigrate Bath, to try and knock them down. They are the biggest spending club, and that tells. But we've seen it before where clubs spend up to the salary cap as much as they can and they don't get the results. Bath have selected their players wisely, and Johan van Graan has set them up brilliantly. Let's get to the actual game then. And like I say, it started with Bristol on fire. Like even before the match, Ellis Genge was walking in and out of the tunnel onto the pitch, kind of sort of taking the stick from the Bath fans and like, yeah, come on then, give me more, give me more. Is that all you got? And I thought, right, he means business. And that, it was all, basically it was the Ellis Genge show for the first 10 minutes of the game, arguing with fans. Then that first carry you put in, massive carry, pushes Guy Pepper, back chat, the penalty gets reversed. Then Genge held up Bath over his own line. Then there was that massive shot from Ellis Genge on Barbary. He was, I thought he was, personally, I know the man of the match was given to to Guy Pepper. I thought Ellis Genge was the best player on the pitch. I would have given it to him. I thought Finn Russell was absolutely brilliant. I thought Max Ajomo was great. Will Muir. Guy Pepper was very good. Ted Hill. I mean, that tackle from Ted Hill, that try-saving tackle at such a crucial point in the game. What was the score when that happened? That was... Oh, yeah. That was the start of the second half, wasn't it? And Bath were down at half-time. And that moment, I mean, having said Bath in the second half just hit the accelerator and went through the gears. They did. But before that, Ted Hill, my goodness me. Like, it was... I tell you what, it was Courtney Laws-esque. It was the sort of tackle Courtney Laws would have put in. Try-saving tackle on Ravuvu. No, let me take it all back. Ravuvu was surely the best player on the pitch, even accounting for his yellow card and the other penalty that he gave away. Ravuvu was unbelievable, man alive. And just before I focus on the game and talk about Bath, just again, if it's true, as Pat Lam says, and I've got no reason to disagree with him, if it's true that they are the third lowest spending team in the Premiership, what Pat Lam's managed to do with them is absolutely brilliant. And Kalavetti Ravuvu, what an incredible piece of business. He let Semi Randrandra go on his like £1 million a year contract, and he picked up Kalavetti Ravuvu for, I'm sure, a fraction of that. Like, I'd be surprised if he was on 1/5 as much as Semi Randrandra, probably on about that, but fair play. What an unreal signing. He's a baller. And the way that game started, the try from James Dunn, they got the penalty, didn't they, from McGinty, but that try from James Dunn, Ravuvu stuck in the corner all on his own, 2 Bath defenders closing him in his own corner by his own try line, and to break to halfway, link with Bill Matter. An incredible passage of play. Ended with Ellis Genge with the little lift to James Dunn scoring under the posts. 10-0. Absolutely incredible. Breathless rugby. And then there was a kickable penalty. Bristol went for the corner. There was a lot of that from both teams, but Gabriel Ogre messed it up. Another big moment, because Bristol messed up a golden opportunity to go 15 or 17-0 up. They got 13 in the end in the first half. Bath got 2 penalties, but there were some big moments. There was another big moment. So Bristol missed their opportunities when they were on top, that being one of them. Another big moment in the first half was Harry Randall going off injured. That was huge for them. Now, Kieran Marmion's a decent player, good player even, but Harry Randall just makes them tick. And that was someone they missed when they needed to just up the tempo a little bit in the second half, weren't able to. 6 points to 13 at half-time. And really, those 6 points to Bath were, well, Kalavetti Ravuvu just gifted them to him with 2 penalties and a yellow card against him for a really cynical little trip. So, yeah, 6-13 at half-time. By the way, just to talk about the TNT coverage, really good. I love what they do with the Prem. But Brian O'Driscoll, what was he wearing? I think there must be a thing where you get to a certain level of legend status, and Brian O'Driscoll is a legend. He can basically do what he wants, clearly, because he can turn up at the Rec in a black bomber jacket, salmon trousers, and his white trainers. And he still kind of looked good. I was just looking at it going, what is that ensemble? And I could never pull that off. I guess Brian O'Driscoll's Brian O'Driscoll, he can. That second half, though, Ted Hill, incredible try-saving tackle, and then Bath, bang, went on the accelerator. And I think they'd scored, actually, before that, hadn't they? I can't remember the order of the tries. I think they scored straight away, and then the Ted Hill try-saving tackle, and then they go up the other end, and it's Cock and a Singer. Lovely nudge through from Phil de Glanville. Phil, I did it again. It's his dad. I watched his dad play years ago when I was a little kid. Tom de Glanville. I'm sure Phil de Glanville was in the crowd and watching. I'm very excited about going to Twickenham as well. Thomas du Toit comes on. I'm going to say that, I said Thomas du Toit was going to be the difference maker. He wasn't in the end. But he did just come on when Bath scored, so maybe that was the case. And yeah, it was a massive 10 minutes. Bath scored those 2 quick fire tries in the start of the second half. And they're so good when they're in front. They're a really hard team to chase because their defence is so brilliant. They've got a great kicking game. Ben Spencer and Finn Russell as a tandem, left foot, right foot. It just all works. And they just controlled the game. And Noah Heward had a shocking second half, but mainly because Bath just pinned him, put him in all sorts of trouble. Will Muir and Coconasinger all over him. And yeah, game was basically done at 27-13. But there was time for more from Bath and a strike back from Bristol. But yeah, any hope of a comeback snuffed out. Bragging rights to Bath. Trip to Twickenham to Bath. Bristol are now on the beach. Well, no one's going to be listening to Pat Lam for a little bit. But just to go back to that, I'm not having a pop at Pat Lam. I loved the build-up to this game. I got right into it. And yeah, that's how you build rivalries. That's what we need to do. That's what rugby's about. And that's what, you know, there's been talk this week about a breakaway league with franchises globe-trotting around the world. Games like this with Bristol and Bath, 12 miles apart. All that history, nearly 150 years of fixtures between the two. Fans that have watched them have some massive ding-dongs in the past. Feeling like there's something really on the line, even more than just a spot at Twickenham in the final of the Premiership, although that is the big prize. That is how you leverage the power of the Premiership. That is how you fend off the threat of things like a breakaway league. I thought it was class. Loved it. Leave me your thoughts. And that's just 25% of the way through the semi-final weekend. And as if I could forget, the final of Pro D2 tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. over on my other channel, FR UK Rugby.